We all might have done certain things in the past which are actually acting as a burden in our head. Very beautiful woman, young woman, laden with a lot of jewelry. Oh, you did something very wrong today. You touched a woman. I fear I will drown. Hi, this is Siddhartha Dubey, founder and CEO of Kognitivus Consulting. And today I want to share with you another story in the series of stories that inspired me. Now, this is the story which I heard from one of my friends back in college. And since then, it had been an important part of my life which has helped me through different difficult situations I had gone through. This is how the story goes. This is a story about two monks. There was a senior monk and a junior monk, and they were traveling from village to village, spreading the message of their master. Now, in one of those travels, they came across a river which they had to cross. The river was on the high. There was a huge current in the river, though it was shallow. So, for them to cross it, they had to be very, very careful. Now, on the bank of that river, they found that there was a very beautiful woman, young woman, laden with a lot of jewelries, heavy jewelries, waiting there. So she came to them and requested, "Dear masters, can you please help me cross the river? Because the current is too high and I fear I will drown." Now, junior monk was very hesitant to even talk to this lady. Why? Because these monks belonged to an order where they had this rule of not interacting or touching the opposite sex. The rule was primarily for the spiritual practice. So the junior monk was very, very hesitant, but the senior monk said, "Well, of course, dear sister, please come on my back and I will take you across the river." So she comes on his back and they walk through the river very carefully. He drops the beautiful lady out there and then they started walking. While they are moving forward, they start walking towards the next destination. The junior monk was still very hesitant and he said, "Oh, you did something very wrong today. You touched a woman. Master will be very, very angry." So the senior monk kept quiet and just continued walking. After some time passed, the junior monk again started cribbing about the same thing. "How could you have done this? This is against the rule. We were not supposed to touch a woman. You did this blunder. Your vow has been broken. How will you progress?" Senior monk kept mum. Again, some time passed. After a while, the junior monk again started saying the same things. "How could you have done this?" And senior monk said, "Hey, listen. I dropped that woman 3 miles back on the bank of the river. But it looks like you're still carrying her in your head." A simple yet very profound story with some very, very important takeaways, which I found them very useful. Some of the takeaways that I took from this story. Takeaway number 1. We all might have done certain things in the past which are actually acting as a burden in our head today. Yet, we may be feeling guilty about some things. We may be not very proud of some of our actions in the past. But if we have not repeated them, and if we have taken our lessons, this is the time to let go of those guilts and move forward in life. Because oftentimes, these guilts, these burdens in our head become a barrier in our progress. Simple yet very profound. Second takeaway that I took from this story was from the perspective of the senior monk. Now, sometimes in our lives, we may have to come across a situation where there is a choice between a rule that we have to follow and a certain principle. Now, if we are very clear about our principles and if the principles are for greater good, it is absolutely okay for that one context, for that one situation, to go by the principle and let go of a rule. Because while the rule is there to help you maintain a certain order, the principle is there for greater good. So using our judgment, of course, in the right way, taking a decision about whether to go with a principle or to go with the rule. That was the second takeaway. Third takeaway, again from the perspective of the monk. While you may have chosen to go ahead by choosing a principle over a rule, that does not mean you take it as an excuse to every time keep doing it. So once you are done with that choice in that particular situation, come back to the rule that you have to follow, that you have set yourself for, because that rule, that discipline is an important discipline for you in your life to continue to grow. So 3 simple yet very profound takeaways from this story. Do not carry your burdens from the past. Always look at the future, as your burden from the past may actually be acting as a hindrance for you. If there is a choice between a certain rule and a principle which is for a greater good, it's okay to go ahead with the principle in that particular situation. And the third one, if you have gone ahead with a principle over a rule, that does not mean you use that as an excuse to keep flouting the rule again and again. Go back to the rule, because that rule, that discipline is always there for your greater good. So those were my 3 takeaways. I'm sure you would have some more to add. If you have, please do share your takeaways in the comment section of this video. I would be very, very happy to hear from you. I sincerely hope this story was helpful and gives you a certain line of thinking, a thought process to live by. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in my next story. Thank you.